They show map examples. Hi, I'm Aileen. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am a homeschool mom of 4 kids, ages 11, 9, 7, and 3. And today I wanted to just do a flip through of Curiosity Chronicles. This is Curiosity Chronicles, snapshots of ancient history. And we've been using this curriculum all year. So I thought I would just do a flip through of the different components that we have in use and show it to you. So here is the hardcover book. This is the book that you read. We actually use the audiobook, which I am really enjoying. My kids really like it. It's Ted and Mona, and they kind of go back and forth and have a discussion. But we do look at the pictures. So there's that. And then they have the instructor guide. So we'll go through that. And the student guide. And then they also have a timeline. So I'm going to show you that as well. Okay, here is Curiosity Chronicles, Snapshots of Ancient History. I have the hardcover book. They did recently come out with an update that added a few chapters. So if you purchase it now, there are a few more chapters. This is an elementary level curriculum. However, they do have book lists in here, so you can expand it for older children. So to start, they just have the introduction for parents, and then they have all of their chapters listed out. This curriculum goes in chronological order, so it does jump around from region to region. They have an intro for parents. They talk about their statement of bias and how everything is a little bit biased. Everything has an agenda. So they're very they try and be as neutral as possible, but they just give you that statement. So they start out with an introduction, and you can see this book is very colorful. Here's Ted and Mona. The whole book is them having a conversation. So I have not read this aloud to my children. I've heard that it works best with one child reading one person and the parent reading the other. But we are using the audiobook, and I love the audiobook. We listen to it in the car, we listen to it at home. But all of the pages are colorful. It's good quality paper. The chapters are not very long. I love that they have the pictures in here. They show timeline examples. So you can see the chapters really, for this level, the ancient history really are not long. And they do sometimes have extra things that you can do in here. Sometimes they're real photographs, which is nice. They show map examples. More real photographs and maps. As mentioned, this one is their version that the version is the same, but they added additional chapters. So I have purchased their second edition add-on, which gives you the additional chapters, and I just printed them out. So they sent me the audiobook, and then it adds in the other chapters. So you can see they added them in if you have the first edition as 6.5, 11.5, 17, etc. I spoke with my children, and we decided to just complete the curriculum, and then we will do these at the end, just because we're like 2/3 of the way through it already. So here's some more. Again, they have this timeline at the bottom, and this does tie in with the timeline that you create with the curriculum. Babylon makes laws. And what's fun is Mona and Ted have very different personalities. Mona is very much like the historian and has a lot of knowledge. And then Ted has some knowledge. He's very excited about like wars, and Mona's trying to teach him that there's more to history than just wars and dates. So they have a really fun little back and forth. Here's an example of a painting that they show. So even if you use the audiobook, it's good to be able to look at the pictures. They do send you the pictures, I believe, if you just purchase the audiobook, but I liked having the book in hand. And then, you know, as my oldest child gets older, I may ask him to reread or use this as a reference to write a summary. So it's nice to have both, but not required if you're using the audiobook. Okay, so I think that's enough flip through for you for the actual textbook. Moving on, this is the instructor manual. You can purchase the PDF. I purchased it printed to come, and it came with I have these shipped together. I will say that when you order this, it takes quite a few weeks for the stuff to get shipped because it's print on demand. So just keep that in mind when you're planning. You won't get it immediately. So here is the instructor's guide. It's got an introduction and advice. They do have sample schedules in here. Let's see. Okay, here's the chapters, table of contents, introduction, telling you how to use their different pieces of the curriculum, like the what do you think questions, and then they have sample schedules. I don't use their sample schedules at all, but they are here. So it shows you how you could break it down into short sessions, long sessions, etc. Okay, so here is, actually, let's jump forward a little bit. Okay, so here's chapter 5, Sumer starts inventing. At the top, they always have people from the chapter. They give pronunciation, which I really appreciate, and a definition, so you can go over that. Here's the comprehension questions. I ask these questions before we listen to the chapter, and then we discuss them after. And then we also will use the what do you think questions, but I love that there's just a list and you can pick and choose what you want. They have the vocabulary words, which you'll need for the student book that you'll see in a moment. They have information on what to add to the timeline, information on what to add to the map, if there's a coloring page, and then they have reading suggestions. Every time they have reading suggestions. So here's picture books. They also have chapter books. So if you are using this with an older child, this is where you could pick or choose a couple of chapter books throughout the year to have them read to add into their learning. And then they do also have cross-reference material. We have the Usborne Encyclopedia of World History, so I have that highlighted, but you can use any of these. Occasionally, they will only have the Ancient World and Nothing from the World History Usborne book, but it doesn't happen very often. So you can cross-reference if you want to add additional reading in. And then they have their hands-on activity. There's always at least one hands-on activity in each chapter. So you can see they have like uniform writing activity, make your own seal with a couple of different versions. And then this is something that a lot of people really love about this curriculum is they have a Minecraft section. So for every chapter, starting at the beginning, your child creates something in Minecraft. So at the end, they have an entire ancient world. So if you have a Minecraft lover, that is really helpful. They do not have pictures of the activities in here. I will say that that's something that is lacking. I love a good picture of an activity. They do not have any pictures, but I guess that would make the book much bigger. But you can see that it's very consistent with what they include for each chapter. Make a mummy, mummify an apple. They had simple and full experiment. We did the full experiment. It was very fun. Egypt builds pyramids. Lots of reading suggestions. Build a pyramid, of course. And also make an Egyptian scroll. Create your own Chinese writing or build canals to stop the flood. So they tend to have more than one project. So that is the instructor guide. Oh, wait. Okay, and then in the back of the book, they do include review materials, so that in the student book, there are these fortune tellers every few chapters, and it gives you the answers here so you can quickly reference them if you've forgotten or want to make sure you're remembering it correctly, which I find very helpful. And then they show the information on how to sort the timeline. And then they have other ideas to review the topics, other methods that you can try. And then they have a key for the map work. I do wish this was in color. I feel like it's a little bit hard to read because they'll say color this color, and color this, that color, but this is all like grayscale. So that has been a little bit challenging. We haven't ended up doing the map work because of it. We may revisit again when we do the next level. So here is the map work key. And I don't believe they have map work for every single chapter, do they? Yeah, so like every once in a while there's not map work. So chapter 23 then jumps to chapter 26. And then here is the activity page solutions. We'll show you in a minute the student book, but they show the answers here so you can reference them if needed. And that is all for the instructor guide. On to the student guide. Now, I did not pay for this to be printed. I purchased the PDF because I have 3 learners, and so it was made more financial sense for me to print them myself. I also really love printing and binding and laminating, so this is like my happy place. It's like therapeutic for me. I don't love this binding. I did get a new binding machine because this one's not holding up real well, but here it is, their PDF version. So just like in the other books, it still has a table of contents with the pages. So you can see it's got in here. Well, let's get to it actually. Okay, so chapter 27, Ashoka has a change of heart. It's got vocab in here and it's matching. And what I like about this is there's many different options, so you can gear it towards the level of your child. So for me, I have a 1st grader, 4th grader, and 6th grader. My 6th grader and my 4th grader do the vocab. I expect my 6th grader to do it independently. My 4th grader needs help. That's okay. My 1st grader, she doesn't do the vocab because I don't feel like it's needed for her at her level. Here's the comprehension questions. We do tend to discuss these out loud, but I will occasionally have my 6th grader also answer them in here. They also include the what do you think questions in here. They give you guidance on what timeline pieces to add, and I'll show you the timeline in a minute, but it shows you which pictures and dates you need to add. It shows you what to do for the map work, which the map work is right here. So it gives you the instructions. And you can see it says color it green or whatever. This one probably isn't too bad because it's just one color, but there were some in the beginning chapters that were like multiple colors, but I couldn't tell which was which on the grayscale. So that made it challenging for me. Maybe it's easier for you. Okay, so they have the map work and then they have a crossword puzzle. Sometimes this is a word scramble and sometimes this is a word search, which really, my kids really enjoy this. They are not upset about doing this workbook. It doesn't take a lot of time. I feel like this kind of thing is more fun, but it's a way to just kind of discuss the concepts again. Even if it's just writing out the word, it's committing it to memory. And so my kids are happy to do this. My 6th grader does this independently. My 4th grader usually needs help with the crossword. She has gotten better at them this year though. And my 1st grader does not do the crossword. She does the coloring page, which I also appreciate that they have in here because I'm happy if she just does the coloring page. That is age appropriate for my 7-year-old. I could also next year add in my preschooler. And then at the end of every few chapters, they do have a fortune teller review, which to be honest, we have not tried these at all, but I hear they're really fun. So you can do you cut it out and do the fortune teller and then go over the topics. And then they also have the topic review cards, and it tells you to reference the instructor manual. So you definitely need the instructor manual, I feel like, to go with this, or you're going to miss some of it because the answers are in there. Okay, so here's chapter 28. This one is a word search, map work, coloring page. Chapter 29 has all the same stuff, but it has word scramble. It's just changes it up, map work and coloring page. Chapter 30, another word search, map work and coloring page. And this one also has a board game in there. So occasionally they have extra activities right in the workbook for kids to do, which my children really enjoy. Here's the playing cards that go with it. Hypothetically, you could print these out on like cardstock as well. And then another fortune teller review. Here's another activity, numbers like a Roman. So you go over Roman numerals, map work and coloring page. Okay, so that is the student book. This is not from Curiosity Chronicles, but I want to show you what we do. So Curiosity Chronicles, they have Ted's timeline, and you're supposed to print it out and put it on your wall. However, if you join the Curiosity Chronicles group, lots of people share what they're doing, and that is also a great place to see examples of the projects if you are visual like me and need to see it. So I printed these out. They're relatively small. I printed them out on sticker paper. Okay, so I printed them out on sticker paper. So I just put this in my regular Epson printer and printed it. I did have to kind of experiment to make sure it was going to print on the right side because obviously the backing is not sticky, but I have them cut it out and then peel it off. They do tell you in the instructor manual and the student book which chapter to do what, but it's actually broken down in here. So we don't even reference that. I just tell them do chapter 31 and then they cut it out and they put them in their timeline book. So each of my kiddos has a timeline book. These are from School Nest. If you don't know about her, she is awesome. She makes awesome teacher planners and other types of notebooks. So there's a section for my history. Let's see if I can get to, here we go. So like I said, they do it in chronological order. So we're adding things in, like things that are happening at the same time in different regions. So it just gives you a visual of the things that are happening. So some of them, there's even like 4. All of those things happened at the same time. So we just add these in here. You can also print out the paper. It's like 50 pages long, but you could, if you have enough wall space, you could absolutely do the timeline the way that it was designed. I think that's it. Oh, there's a couple more. So that is all I have to show you. I do want to say that they do have 2 other items available for Curiosity Chronicles. They have a lap book, which you could use, I guess, in addition to or in place of this student book. I did purchase it and then realize for my first grader and then realized it was going to be too much work for me to try and do a lap book for one kid and a student book for another, and she would rather do what her siblings are doing. So we did that. However, if your kids would rather cut and paste and glue and make lap books, that is an option and it is very affordable. The other thing that they have for sale that I have not used is they have an escape room, Ted's escape room, that you can do to add into the learning for this level of history. So that is all. This is Curiosity Chronicles, Snapshots of Ancient History. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching my video.